Hi, my name is Kevin Fernandez and welcome to my channel, Gamers Genie. Today, I'm going to be counting down my top 10 favorite movies. But not just any movies. So for those of you who don't know, actually probably a lot of you don't know about this, but I'm a big fan of animation. So I kind of want it, and this is the month of May, which means that this is my special list. For those of you who are not familiar with this, on the month of May and July, Jordan and I will get to list our top 10 favorite blanks. It doesn't have to be board game related. It can be whatever we want. This is just so that way you guys at home can get to know us a little bit better. Because we've been here for about almost 7 years now. Actually, I think it has been 7 years. Whatever. Jordan's trying to correct me on something, but I can't remember. Well, clearly she knows more about this channel than I do. Odd, but whatever. So today I'm going to count down my top 10 favorite Studio Ghibli films. And for those of you who don't know, this is a animation studio. It's like one of my favorite animation studios. It made some of my favorite movies, such as Spirited Away, The Tale of Princess Kaguya, Princess Mononoke, Castle in the Sky, Howl's Moving Castle, you name it. I love these movies so much, and here's the thing. I love these movies to the point where it is really difficult to pick 10, but I managed to do it. Most of these movies do have a certain place on this list. For certain reasons, I'll definitely mention like the different reasons. But with that all being said, let's count down. Okay, so first of all, I want to say that I do love all these movies very equally. This is just an organizer currently. So number 10 is The Tale of Princess Kaguya. This one is a pretty recent Studio Ghibli film. I do like it though. I like the animation style. I like how different it is compared to a lot of the other Studio Ghibli films, animation, art style and everything. Because because Ghibli has been around for a long time, and one of the things that happens if you watch Disney, if you watch DreamWorks, if you watch, any animation studio, they get kind of in this level of comfort with this certain animation style. Disney is into their realistic 3D, DreamWorks is into their, kind of ugly-ish 3D, a little more dirty, and then you got Illumination doing their Minion 3D. I'm just going to call it Minion 3D because that's probably what they want it to be called. But, Tale of Princess Kaguya definitely did it was like a more hand-drawn animation, which, and this was like more of a hand-drawn than hand-drawn. The art style looks very, very beautiful. It's very unique. I like the story about the characters and everything like that. How like the father is trying to push his adoptive daughter more and more towards royalty, more towards this upper class level thing, and the mom just wants her to be a kid who wants her to just do what she feels is fun and enjoyable. She just wants to hang out with her friends and and play and goof around. And I'm not going to spoil the ending to any of these movies, but the ending is pretty nice and very beautiful and very quiet. I like that. The ending is very quiet. So like I said, I've heard a lot of good things about this, but I recently watched it. There's no reason it's on number 10. It's just I need to have that. I can't put everything on number 1. I wish. But yeah, number 10, The Tale of Princess Kaguya. Okay. Number 9 is Porco Rosso. This one is a pretty interesting one. Once again, it's got very beautiful, bright, colorful animation. And the story is like there's a pilot who got cursed into being a pig, but that's not like really the big deal out of the story. In fact, even like when he said, I was told there's a way I can break the spell, but I've been cursed so long I kind of gave up trying, and I totally forgot, and I completely forgot what it was. In the dubbed version of this, Porco Rosso is voiced by Michael Keaton. It's pretty nice. He does a pretty good job. I like the airplane stuff that they do in that because he is a fighter pilot. I like the dog fights that they do. They were pretty well. The action in this is very well done. I like the different ways they can do the dog fights. It's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. There's a lot of parts that if you like kind of a very coherent story, there's some parts that you might feel a little like, there should have been more there. But for me, this is just a fun little adventure that I can really enjoy, really just immerse myself in this world and with these characters. So number 9, Porco Rosso. Okay, so number 8 is Princess Mononoke. This one is definitely one of my favorites, and it is probably my first PG-13 movie I ever saw, because I first saw this when it aired on Toonami during their Studio Ghibli animation marathon. This one is a really good one. This is a really, really good movie. I do like how it's like this girl who's kind of like, it's about this girl and this guy who's kind of both torn between two worlds. I mean, it's one of those classic nature films. If the watch out for we gotta protect the environment and all that stuff. So it's there's times when you're gonna feel like, this kind of feels like Pocahontas, or Fern Gully, or name a movie that's about save the environment here, or Avatar. I guess it would feel like that. I guess Avatar feels like Princess Mononoke, but I do like it, even with the message that has been done just so much. It's still beautiful animation. There's some pretty good action, but there's a lot of good quiet scenes. And I think that's one of the things I love about this movie the most. Actually, it's one of the things I love about a lot of Studio Ghibli films. They do allow these characters to be people and have these quiet moments and just kind of like take in the stuff that's going on around them, and take in like the beautiful scenes, the ugly scenes, the sad scenes, all those, and feel those emotions. It's just, there's so many movies nowadays that's just like, okay, we need to go here, now 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 the movie's done. I just kind of miss that, okay, we can go here, but we can spend some time and kind of really just think about what happened. And this movie definitely adds to that. But I have to warn you, just because I said it's PG-13, there are some scenes that you would probably be like, oh, this is not for me. There are some scenes, I'm not going to say what they are, because I want to keep some mystery, and this is kind of an experimental list right now. I don't know how YouTube's going to react to what I say and what I don't say, because it's YouTube. But yeah, number 8, Princess Mononoke. Okay, so number 7 is The Castle in the Sky. This one I really do like a lot. Because first of all, Mark Hamill's the villain. Where can you go wrong with that? They also got like Anna Paquin and Shia LaBeouf, I think. I don't know. I can't remember who voices the boy. Jordan can't remember either. I do like, but don't get me wrong, I do like this this movie, just because I can't remember who voices the boy in this. I like this movie, just like a lot of the other movies. I'm gonna say this a lot. It allows to be very quiet. Basically, the story goes, there's a I can say a little bit of detail in this. You know, there's a girl, she fell from the sky, and this crystal protected her, and she's trying to find this lost city in the sky, where you know, there's like all these ancient robots and everything like that, and one of the things that I just recently noticed is one of my favorite animes, One Piece, actually took some inspiration from this, and I believe one of this actually took some inspiration from a book called Gulliver's Travels, because there's Laputa and then there's Lilliput, and that's where they got the name Laputa from, was from Lilliput, which was pretty interesting. But that's also where but then there's this island in the sky made of earth. That's where they got the idea for Skypiea in One Piece. So it's that's one of the reasons why this one has to be on this list, because it's so fascinating how many different types of movies and shows got inspiration. So it was like one thing got it. So like Miyazaki got inspiration to put to name the place Laputa because of Gulliver's Travels, and then like years later, Ichiro Oda will put a island in the sky because he was inspired by one of his favorite movies, Castle in the Sky. It's so cool how like that definitely inspires, unless we go by the route of Lion King. But that's not on this list, so I don't need to go that route. But yeah, it's worth the Google. But anyways, you know, it gets pretty convoluted and crazy. Again, the action scenes are pretty good. I like the comedy in this, though. The comedy in this is like, to me, this is when a lot of the Miyazaki films started incorporating a lot more humor in it. There's always a group or a person who moves a little more quicker than everybody else, so they kind of trip over themselves a bit more. Quite a bit more slapstick. It's pretty funny when it needs to be, but it's again really quiet when it needs to be. This is definitely a movie I put on a lot, over and over and over again, watch on repeat. Especially for the lore, the mythos, and the world in this. It's really good. Number 7, Castle in the Sky. Okay, so number 6. This one I was kind of wondering if I should put this on the list, but it's The Cat Returns. I'm not that big of a fan of Whisper of the Heart. Mostly because my wife makes me watch it over and over and over again. She really likes it. I mean, I like it too, but I find it's funny how she likes it, because technically a lot of the things that the main character in that one did, she did when she was, before me and her got together. So having it being tied very close to our lives, I felt like she wasn't going to like it, but she does. This one's The Cat Returns. It's kind of a sequel to that. And by a kind of a sequel, I mean it has the main character from that. It's got the Baron, and that's about it. It's got the main character is voiced by Carrie Hughes. I always mix up the last part of his name. And I believe this one, I know the main female role is voiced by Anne Hathaway. This one I know. It's Anne Hathaway. And Peter Boyle is the kind of sidekick in this one. He plays a character named Muta. This one has a lot of if you're a big fan of like shonen animes, that one Muta kind of has that trope. Likes to eat, doesn't really care what's going on around him, doesn't really pay attention to what's going on around him, and is pretty strong too. So if you're a cat fan, it'd be pretty good. Plus, here's a nice bonus. Tim Curry is a villain in this movie. So there's a nice bonus right there, because Tim Curry is always awesome in whatever he does, and so this movie automatically gets major points for having Tim Curry in this movie. Again, the artwork is beautiful. The backgrounds are just gorgeous. There's a lot of times where you could just feel like you would just pause the movie and just want to look at everything. And I like how they take us to kind of like this fantasy world that's kind of just inhabited by cats. The characters are really nice. And the plot's very good. It's just an all-around good movie, and I really enjoy it. There's not that many dark moments for this, and I mean, you know, some of the previous movies I mentioned, like especially Princess Mononoke, has some dark moments, but this one is more of like a really happy, even though there's like kidnapping and stuff like that, and some stuff dark-ish, but you know what I mean. There's not like no gruesome deaths or anything like that. There's not like some crazy gory imagery or anything like that. Those are for later. but yeah, number 6, The Cat Returns. Okay, so number 5 is, this one is like a lot more newer. This one was like the newest one that I saw, until I saw like the Princess Kaguya and a couple others on this list. And by the way, when I say like recent and all this stuff, you know, I know that a lot of these films that I'm listing, they came out in like years past, but a lot of these films didn't come out until like maybe 2, 3, 4 years ago. So they're new to me. Okay, these are new. A lot of the Tale of Princess Kaguya, that is very new to me. I looked up when it first came out in Japan. Not that new, but I looked up when it came out in America. Pretty new. But this one is Ponyo. This one I like just because I like the fact that it's focused around kids. Because it's technically a retelling of The Little Mermaid. I really hate those though. I hate retellings. I hate reimaginings. I'm not that big a fan of reboots. Reboot, reimagining, retelling. I'm not that big of a fan of it. I do prefer original stories, but honestly, if someone did... Honestly, I didn't find that out until years later that this was a retelling of The Little Mermaid, because I didn't know. Honestly, it looked like this goofy fish movie, because it had almost nothing to do with The Little Mermaid. I mean, like, in The Little Mermaid, she wanted to be, in the book, I believe she did want to be a human because of the prince. In the Disney film, she wanted to be human because of her obsession with human things. And in this one, she wanted to be human because of ham. Let's face facts, that's probably the more believable one. I can see a lot of people who'd be like, yeah, I need legs, I need like normal human functions because I need that ham. I need that ham. It's really funny. It's a really funny, nice film. I do like, you know, the voice cast is really good. I remember Liam Neeson plays like her father. I don't remember who plays Ponyo's mother, and I don't know who plays Ponyo I don't know that many people who do the voice cast of this one. I know. Huh?
Siblings of Miley Cyrus and the Jonas Brothers. They voiced Ponyo and Sasuke.
Okay, so apparently a Jonas brother and a Cyrus kid was the voice of the characters. That doesn't... I'm not a fan of like those families, but whatever. They did a good job. They're kids. Not going to be too harsh. Again, I love the animation, especially the stuff underwater and in the water and everything. And I like the animation of her mother. It's like really good animation. I haven't watched this one in a while though, but I do like try to find it online and stuff like that. I really wish a lot of these movies were more grouped together in a streaming service. I know a lot of people were hoping these would show up on Disney Plus at some point. They kind of are on Max. Gosh, that's a dumb streaming service name. So, yeah, Warner Brothers wanted to name their streaming service after the dog in The Little Mermaid. This fits in that theme. So anyways, before I lose track, number 5, Ponyo. Okay, so now we're kind of getting into the ones that I really like. Number 4 is Howl's Moving Castle. This is definitely one of my favorites. Oh my gosh, I wish I remember who voiced Howl.
Christian Bale.
That's it, Christian Bale, Batman. Batman voices Howl. And that's all I'm going to focus on. Oh, and Calcifer is voiced by... Oh gosh, it's so hot in this room. Billy Crystal! Billy Crystal, that's his name. That's Billy Crystal, another Princess Bride actor, voices characters in these films. Little confession, Billy Crystal is probably the one actor I can never remember the name of, but I thoroughly enjoy his stand-up and his acting.
I have his wife to remind you. Billy Crystal's name.
Yeah, but my wife constantly reminds me when she doesn't want to have a good laugh. When she does want to have a good laugh, she keeps it a secret. So anyways, I do like this one. This one I'm going to go into a lot more detail because it is an older film, both in America and in Japan. So basically, there's this girl named Sophie, and she kind of just likes to live a very safe, quiet life, and doesn't like to ruffle any feathers. She doesn't like to go party and everything like that. Already, she's a pretty relatable character to me because I don't like doing all that stuff either. But then she meets the Witch of the Waste, and she finds out that she met Howl, and so turned her into an old lady. Mostly because she was being rude. But then, she helps him out and gets the curse off of him, and everything like that, and they fight a war. Oh my gosh, there are so many scenes in this film where the animation just shines so much. I swear, there are so many scenes where you could turn off the sound and just watch the animation, because it is just some of the best animation I've ever seen. Truly, in Japan they consider being an animator more as like an art form, so they respect them just as much as like respecting a painter or something like that, and you can tell it shines through, and there's a passion behind like all these films that I've just previously did, but definitely in this one and in the 3 to come. I highly recommend you check out this movie if you haven't already. Number 4, Howl's Moving Castle. Okay, so number 3 is Nausicaa and the Valley of the Winds. This is kind of one of the first ones I've ever seen. I didn't put the very first one that I've ever seen because I don't want to recommend it. I like My Neighbor Totoro, but I like the original dubbed version or the subbed. I don't like the new Disney dubbed version. The Fanning sisters just no. In my opinion, they're kind of annoying. They were kind of annoying when there was just one, and then there was 2, and the other one got kind of annoying. I know she got a little popular because of Maleficent. But yeah, no. But definitely, Nausicaa is definitely one of my favorites. I'm not going to try to remember who's in the voice cast for this because that's just hurting my brain.
Nausicaa has Shia LaBeouf.
That one has Shia LaBeouf, according to Jordan. That's who plays the boy in that one. I don't know who plays Nausicaa. Yeah. But again, I'm just mentioning the dubbed voice actors. And I don't really pay attention that much to the voice acting. I just pay attention to the... Now, this is kind of something I definitely miss. It definitely feels like there was a style to this. There's a lot more detail. There's some of that beautiful 3D mixed with 2D animation in this, but there's a lot of more detailed shots where they kind of try to make everything look more realistic. And I definitely appreciate that. This is one thing... This is a story that's been done to death. It's a post-apocalyptic story, you know, where the world was destroyed by. This one, it's overgrowth, and these giant bugs are ruling the earth now, which is probably a nightmare for about like maybe 99% of the female population on Earth, and like maybe there's like 1% that's like that's okay. I know my wife is definitely within that 99%. That's just a guess, by the way. That's just a guess. I have no clue how. If you don't like bugs, I don't recommend this movie for you. But you know, but I do like this story. I believe Uma Thurman is the villain in this one, which is good. There's a lot. Actually, there's a lot of scenes in this movie that you might recognize because it was like satirized, or there was like homages to it in other cartoons and in other animated films and stuff like that. This one really does expand and spread through like multitudes of levels, and oh gosh, man, it's a long movie. I'm not gonna lie. It's like 2 hours at least. But it is definitely worth the watch. I'll definitely say that. It's definitely worth the watch. Gorgeous, gorgeous animation. Great casting. Great voice acting. Everything about this movie is just fan-frickin-tastic. Highly, highly recommend it. Nausicaa, The Valley of the Wind. Okay, so number 2, this one is pretty interesting because it's a lot different. It doesn't focus in fantasy. It's a little more focused on history. It's The Grave of Fireflies. And I do like this one. One of the things I do like about it is because it's a World War II film. And one of the things I was thinking when I was going into this was, oh my gosh, it's a World War II film from a foreign country that we fought against. I really thought there was going to be a lot of vilifying, like, you know, the Allied forces and all that stuff was going to be over the top, very preachy. But then I remembered, this is a Japanese film. This isn't a U.S. film. So it might not be that preachy. It wasn't. Actually, a lot of the mean-spiritedness from the characters came a lot more from the main character's family than came from their family and from their circumstances versus like just focusing on the war. Actually, half the time, if you watch it, you kind of don't even remember that there's a war going on. But, you know, people are barely scraping by. It's about these 2 kids. Their mother is very sick. Their father volunteered to go fight in the war. They don't know if their father is alive or dead. And their mother is getting sicker and sicker by the minute. One day there was an enemy bombing, and their mother got very badly burnt, and she passed on. Totally spoiler alert, by the way. I don't want to say too much. I'm just gonna leave it at that because that's kind of like the beginning of the movie, and I don't want to say anything else. Definitely check it out. The animation in this is hauntingly beautiful. And it will make you cry. It will make you cry because it made me cry. It will make you cry. It's not that I'm not a Niagara Falls guy, but I'm not like a stone heart, no, a heart of ice kind of person either who's like, oh, real men are tough. It's just, it takes a certain something to get me to cry. And this and Pikachu from Pokemon, the first movie. So, you know, put kids in a terrible circumstance or an electric rodent crying over his best friend. Either or. And then there's a couple episodes of One Piece as well. They get me too. But anime, oh my gosh, but anime gets me to cry way more than a lot of Western movies and animated films too. I would definitely say that. I probably cried over a lot more Eastern stuff than Western. They really know how to tug at the heartstrings. And this is no exception. Just thinking about it, oh my gosh, I'm starting to... Whew. Okay, so yeah, number 2, Grave of Fireflies. I can't talk about it anymore. I'm going to start crying. Okay, so number 1 is very obvious. If you are a fan of Studio Ghibli, most people have this on their number 1 list. It is Spirited Away. I love the voice cast in this. I mean, it's got Divine Chase, it's got Jason Marsden, it's got David Ogden Stirs, it's got so many people. They got a great cast. I'm trying to remember the last one, but it'll come to me at like the last minute. I know that, but oh my gosh. So this one I'm gonna go into full details. So if you have not seen Spirited Away, you know, pause it right here. Come back, watch the movie, then come back and we'll talk about it. But anyways, it's about this little girl, Chihiro, moving to a new neighborhood right off the bat. I think that's like a universal way to universally connect with your audience, because we've all been there. We've all been the kids going to a new neighborhood, going to meet new friends and everything, and you're leaving behind your old friends and everything like that to start this new life that you didn't agree to. Your parents just said, hey, you know what? We've got this going on. We're going to move here. Pack your bags. Let's go. And she's like she's got like flowers. There's a card from her friends. And so it's already like telling you how sad this is. And then her dad drives off road. They come to an old abandoned amusement park. And like then a lot of crazy stuff happens. She has to try what she can to try to go back to the human world. Oh yeah, and her parents get turned into pigs. If you scare easily, that will frighten you for the first time. I'm not gonna lie. And that's pretty good nightmare fuel right there too. First time I saw that movie, whew, couldn't sleep for 3 days. But I don't know why. I guess I love torturing myself because I watched that movie over and over and over again. Jordan and we recently got to see this movie in theaters. Holy crap, if you have an opportunity to see this movie in theaters, you should see it in theaters because it is amazing. This movie is just terrific. You know, I can't recommend this movie enough. The characters are great, the world is great, the world building is great. Everything about this is just phenomenal, beautiful, highly recommended. Number 1, Spirited Away. Well, there you go. There's my top 10 Studio Ghibli films. Spirited Away is number 1. But that's my top 10 favorite Studio Ghibli films. If there's a favorite that, if there's like, let me know in the comments below what your favorites are. I'd love to hear from you for that. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and ring the notification bell to be notified for top 10s lists just like this, like whatever Jordan's cooking up for hers in the month of July. And then there's there's our top 10 board games list for June. Be on the lookout for those. If you're a big fan of the channel as a whole, consider becoming a Patreon supporter on our Patreon page. I'd like to thank our current Patreon supporters. Your donations mean a lot to this channel and it helps us do what we do. Be on the lookout for our next top 10s list. But until then, thanks for the views.